Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Wolf Vlogs back with another video, and in today's video I have something so crazy, a story that you've never heard about in your whole entire life being on YouTube. Actually, you guys watching me on YouTube, so let's get on with the glasses and let's go on with it. So it's getting dark, ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can see right here. It's already getting dark. Hopefully you guys get to see me. If not, I'm sorry. And let's get on with today's video. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about the time back in 2005, 2004, 2005, or 2006. Once again, 2004, 2005, or 2006. And it was back when we used to go to church here in East LA. If you guys know where East LA is at, then good for you. East LA, near Montebello is where it was. So you guys can really guess from there whatever you want to guess. You can say, oh, it's kind of close to Montebello, or it's kind of far, so whatever. So what I remember is that the pastor had driven us to the mountains. That's what happened. Sorry if the lighting gets worse and worse now, but that's what happened. He took us to this place, the mountains. It was the first time that from our church we went up the mountains to Azusa Mountains. That's where it was. And at that time, I believe I was maybe 12. No, I would say maybe 12, 13. Yeah, like 12 or 13 years old. That's all I remember. I was probably 12 or 13. I wasn't a tall kid at that time, so you can't say, oh, you're 5'7" at that age, or you're 5'5" at that age. No, I'm not really that tall, to be honest. So I'm not going to say I'm 5'9" or like everybody else. All you other people that are like 6 feet or whatever. I'm not. I believe I'm like 5'5" or 5'6" right now. So you can laugh at me all you want, or maybe I'm 5'7". Who knows? But you can laugh at me at not being as tall as you think I would be. So let's get on with it, because the time is coming to an end, because it's getting a little bit darker and darker, and it's harder for you to watch me. So just let me talk. So I went up the mountains with a couple of other people, other kids that were part of that church, and I was like, okay, we're good. And I remember I used to have a lot of friends there, and sometimes I wasn't that great of a friend to them, but I tried to be as best as I could. So that was a pretty nice time that I had with them. So we went up the mountains, we went to the river, and at that time I believe I was, like I said, 12 or 13. And when I went up the mountains, I wasn't a good swimmer. So when I got to the lake, I think we were walking. I mean, not at the lake, at the river. We were just walking, and it was okay. It seemed okay at first. I'm having a good time, but I don't know if I was wearing sandals or shoes. But I think what happened was that I slipped on a rock, and I got into the river, and I got all wet. And what I remember was that I wasn't a real good swimmer at that time, because you're probably not a good swimmer at age 12 or 13 or 11. I don't remember how old I was at that time. I don't really remember, but I was still I think I was barely going to be a preteen or a teenager or something like that. But let me think about it. I think, yeah, I would say maybe I was in the 4th to 5th grade at that time. So you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. I was barely in the 4th or 5th grade. I would say 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. Okay? So that was a long time ago. So you guys get to know that now that I'm 26 years old. So that's how it was. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's what happened. So like I said, I went to the lake, and it was all cool because I had a lot of friends there I could talk to, and a lot of stuff happened that I'll get into it a little bit later in another video, and talk about more in detail what really went on with that life as a kid. But what I have to say is that at that time I slipped into the river. Into the river. I don't want to say lake because it's not really a lake, a river. And the flow of the mountain was really extreme. And there's a lot of people that now that are like 30 years old, 40 years old, and they still sometimes feel like they can slip into the river because it's so powerful coming down the mountains in Azusa. So for those that have been to Azusa, you know what I'm talking about, of how crazy those little rivers are, even though they may not seem like crazy in the way we're talking about it. In the way I'm talking about it, it may not sound too crazy, but in reality it is crazy. So what I have to say is that I slipped into the river, and then I started flowing away. I couldn't get out because then my body got all heavy. I became heavy, and it was just hard for me. Like, my hands were not, even if you have strength, I believe that you cannot get out because there's so much weight pulling you down, plus the river is pushing you. So it's two things. And then I wasn't a good swimmer at that time, and I'm still not a good swimmer, but I still can say I can get out of the water when I need to. So that's why I have to say that it was crazy. So when I slipped into the river, I was like, it's not too, when I slipped into the river, I was like, it's not going to be bad. But then when I fell in there, I was like, because I couldn't really like get out of it because I got stuck. I believe I'm not stuck, but I started like drowning at that time. And I was like, I got to do something, because if I can't escape from it, where am I going to be at? That's the truth. Like, what am I going to do if I can't get out? So I used all my strength as hard as I could, and I just got to the side of, like, I was lucky. I think I got a rock. I got it like a stone that was there, and I couldn't get out from it, so I just kept going, and I felt like like I was about to I wasn't going to make it. So I think I got to a side of the of like land, and I just held myself onto there, and I went like I started like grabbing myself onto the side of the ground, or whatever, the rocks, or whatever, the thing that you step on right there, like kind of like dirt or sand or mud or whatever. But that's how I got out. I used all my strength as hard as I could. I'm like, and I got out. So that's pretty good, because I felt like I wasn't going to be able to make it out because of the rushing water. And plus, I think these people didn't really know about it or something. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people didn't really know about me drowning in it. I don't really remember. That's the thing. That I don't really remember if these people knew about me being stuck in the river or not. I don't remember. That's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I don't remember. That's all I remember, was that I was able to get out. But if I didn't get out, I could have drowned, and I could have suffocated and swallowed so much water and just gone away. So that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy that something like that happened, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm glad I made it out. I'm glad. And I think that's like the one and only time that I really that was really crazy for me as a, like, the first experience that I had that was like so life changing. I was like, I feel like I'm not going to make it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I'm gonna make it, guys. But then I did. So that's pretty awesome. And the next thing I want to say is that I'm glad I made it out. That's just a story I wanted to tell you guys, because then you guys will probably think, oh no, his life has been perfect. He hasn't had any life or near death experiences, or he's too good to have a death experience or something. Because I've had, I think, like, I would say near death experience, I would say maybe in my whole life, I would say maybe two death experiences, and that was just pretty much it. Just two. But that one was the craziest death experience of all time, and and that's how it is. I just felt it that way, that it was the worst death experience ever, almost life or death. But I made it out, so that's pretty nice. And I just got back to my life again, and that's about it. So that's what I'm just trying to say, that in an in a flash, you could, I mean, in a very one thing to the next, you could have an accident, and it's so crazy. So I just want to say that it's crazy that something like that kind of happened to me, but I'm pretty happy that I'm out alive, and I'm here. Look, I'm sitting. As a 26-year-old, I'm still here. And there's been times where I've had, like, I mean, there's been times where I'm like, I'm glad I'm alive. I'm glad I'm living another year, because there's other people that don't make it. People can drown in the rivers, or people can drown in the lakes, or people can drown in the bathtub, or they can slip and they can have accidents that are life-threatening accidents. So that's what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty insane, something like that. But at the same time, I'm pretty happy that something like this made me think, like, don't just think that from one day to the next year you're going to be okay, or you're always going to be okay, because some people don't make it. And that's the thing that's crazy about it, that to some people it's like no, that can never happen to me. That kind of death experience can never happen to me, because I'm already how do I say this? I've been living for 20 years. I've been living for 30 years. No, anybody can have a life or death experience. It doesn't matter. You can have a life or death experience at the age of 5, at the age of 10, at the age of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and you never know. I mean, other people will never know the experience that you go through and these things that go on. So I'm just glad that I'm here and alive today. And like I said, I don't really remember if these people that were, I don't know, friends, the way I do this, because I've never talked to them, because everything just all disappeared from there. It's like you have a good time in your life, and then from one day to another, it's just like it disappears on you. It's like, boom, like that was a good time, but now it's gone. Now you have to start all over again. And that's my life. That's how my life was always, where you have a couple of good people in your life, and then they're like gone. But that's not the point of this story. The point of this story is to say, I'm glad I'm still alive on earth. I'm still alive, because that could have been a near-death experience, ladies and gentlemen. So like I said, that happened maybe in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, back in the Azusa mountains. And you know how people get lost in the national forest, and you could get lost in the Los Angeles National Forest, or you could get lost in the mountains, and stuff can happen to you. So that's what I'm just trying to say. I'm glad I'm still alive, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad, because if it weren't for me being here, then I couldn't be able to tell you this story. So like I said, this happened in a trip that we took from church, from church to the mountains. And I'm glad that something like this made me think. I was just thinking about it, like recently I've been thinking about like all the stuff that ever happened to me. I've been thinking like, this happened to me back in 2010. This happened to me back here. This happened to me there. And I have to be honest, not everything's good, but you have to reflect and you have to try to think of, just say, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm fixing this problem of mine, or I'm glad I'm doing this and that. And I try to be as honest as possible so you guys know that I'm genuine, or genuine, whatever you guys want to say. But I try to be as genuine as possible, ladies and gentlemen. So that's just a little story of what happened to me back when I was a young kid, back in 2005, maybe. I don't really know, because now in 2021, like I said, I'm 26 years old. So I would say maybe 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. I don't really remember. But that's about it. So that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. I try to be as genuine as possible with you, and I will always be as genuine as possible. And as you guys can see, you can't see me no more, because that's how the video is getting, because it's getting dark. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wolf Vlogs, and as always, I'll catch you guys in another video. And as I like to say, please follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, and every other link that you see in the description down below. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in another video.